My apartment is 350 square feet in the heart of Santa Monica next to the pier. It's one room that I live in, but it has everything I could possibly need or want. I've lived here for more than a year now. The promise of minimalistic living with the beach as your backyard is as good as it sounds. I've learned a lot. Nothing is custom built. All of it is like girly on a budget, trying to just do the most with what she's got, inheriting free furniture, free found objects, and then purchasing in the places where it made sense. So moving into this space, this was the first time I have had my own apartment, which was really exciting, also a little bit daunting. Like, I've never had to ask myself the question, like, what is actually my design aesthetic? Adult Darby coming into herself and figuring out what her values and ideals are, and how I want to feel in a space, like what the role of that space in my life is. And I came up with the words: open, grounded, creative, optimistic, cozy. Like those were the adjectives that really served as my North Star in this decorating process. And then I went on Pinterest and I found a whole bunch of the spaces that felt like it hit those words. So in terms of like the design aesthetic, I started to gravitate towards farmhouse and cottagecore elements. I really like the coziness of cottagecore, and I think it taps into like my inner desire to be in a fairy tale. I really liked how streamlined and minimal a lot of modern design is, and especially for a smaller space. That felt really important to keep the space feeling as open as possible. Another theme I saw was that I just loved spaces that had a lot of plants in them. So I did want to have probably a ridiculous number of plants considering the size of my studio and how little counter and floor space there is. And along those same veins, like softer, more organic feeling shapes and colors and textures was also a part of achieving that design aesthetic. A really big trend that I noticed was this combination of like almost terracotta or like burnt oranges paired with blues, which happened to work really nicely because I did not bring in the furniture. That was inherited from this being an Airbnb before I moved in. Back when this was an Airbnb, there was this really, really ugly painting, constricted the entire space. So I just reused the two nails on the wall and then hung up these like $3 tassels. Really inexpensive way to have details on the walls that create some visual interest, but again, don't really break up the space. If I was staying here longer, I definitely would get wall art. Like that's one thing that I never really invested because it was always kind of expensive. I wasn't sure how long I'd be here for. I think I would have done a gallery wall, probably is how I would have done that. When this was an Airbnb, there was this really disgusting millennial gray rug that came with it that was so dingy, like looked like a murder rug or like maybe a dental office. I did so much rug research to find the one that had the colors that I wanted. For how affordable this carpet is, it has served me really well. It does have fading in a couple places. It's a little bit more worn down. It's been good. It's a good like transition rug. It's not a piece that I think I'll have for years to come. I'm hoping if and when I have a little bit more money, like I'll invest in a high quality carpet. But just to like be in this space, I think it was perfect. It was the perfect size and it's washable. So, and instead of going for your more like classic geometric mirror, I wanted the organic shape. It felt a little bit more grounded, a little bit more whimsical and creative as well. Like you want your decor to be functional. You want it to serve a purpose, but still be aesthetic and like nice to look at. I think that's sort of the secret. Behind here, storage for my gym equipment. I normally work out here. It takes me 2 seconds to pull it out when I'm running late in the morning, which is every time I work out. It's been a really effective solution. And it was cheaper to buy a blanket than to buy like a new piece of furniture. Flip you around here. Of course, this big old bed taking up all this floor space. Ideal for storage. Stole this blanket from my parents' house that I think is really cute. It does have a hole in it. It hides underneath, which is like all the crap that I don't want you to see that I'm ashamed of. But honestly, it does a pretty darn good job. And then my shoes are really easily grabbable. Like, I'm out the door in 3 seconds, kick off my shoes as soon as I'm in the door. I think it's a good strategy. And it doesn't require, like, custom built anything. You don't have to really buy anything. Like, you probably have a blanket that you can just use in this sneaky way. I think it's a hack. These white curtains, I needed a focal point of interest in the room, but I wanted it to be this light color so that it felt more continuous and didn't close up or break up the space in any way. So this was kind of my design compromise there. Kind of eccentric pattern, still keep the space pretty continuous. It's definitely a necessity because there's no AC in my building and it does get a little bit hot in the summer. And in that same theme of having really functional decor, I have my bags next to the door. It is actually genuinely the hat that I use, so I just grab it when I'm going up to the roof or going out to the beach. I mean, you need tissues. That's come in handy, having it reachable. This is a macrame tissue box. Not organized at all, but I have all my books and my diaries, and it's nice to have them out. I like the visual reminders. And the purchases that I made pretty early on that I think was pretty smart. I came in with this cubby space, and I wanted a place to put my makeup that still felt kind of compact, put together, and aesthetic. I found this like vintage style deep green makeup holder. It has these slide out drawers, stores stuff around it a little bit, like I have my speaker that I use all the time. I think if I was going back and coaching Darby, I would tell her to find a makeup holder that is just slide out drawers and doesn't have this like fold up thing, because as you can tell, it's not very functional in this space. Like, I have to pull this out and put it on the counter each time, and I could have made my life just like a tiny bit easier. But regardless, I've been really happy with it. I think it's a super cute one. It'll work well for other spaces. I'm a big fan of phone holders. This one comes with me everywhere. It's that same deep green color because I like to pretend that the psychology helps me. I also have this gold one that is super cute that I keep by my bed all the time. Kind of looks like a sculpture. Now, having this be like a circular object, it just like softens the edges. It's more stress relieving. Everything is just like, I like to chill. This feels more chill than like square angular thing. So it's almost an art piece, but it has things that are meaningful to me. Another charm box filled with more intentions, just serves as a visual reminder. I had these fake flowers that I got for my mom for something because she loves California poppies. They're her favorite flower. I cut some of them up and stuck them in this fake plant. And it looks like it came like this, but it didn't. And it just adds that little pop of color. Roller skater, so I just kind of keep them in this corner. It's like their little designated space. And part of the cottage core kind of esque aesthetic. These like bird cushions too that I think are super cute. Having a plant, great investment. I think it really pulls together the jungle luscious vibe of this place. My instruments too, of good stress reliever. I'm in a corner unit, which is super lucky, but I wanted some more privacy to have these open during the day to let in the natural light, but not feel like I have people peeping in my window. So I installed this privacy shield. I did a super janky job at it, but it still does what it needs to. If you're decorating a small space, explicitly trying to like slow down and see like, okay, what are your actual needs, and leveraging like free things or found things or like cheap Facebook marketplace things or thrifted finds is really useful. I got a lot of free crap, like this vase right here. The vase! I got for free. I love it. I paired it with this vase that I bought with the fake flowers. I know it's controversial, but I love fake flowers. Like, you don't have to water them. They always look beautiful. I got to pick it in this lovely color palette that aligns really nicely with burnt terracotta and adds that little bit of freshness and color. These I both got for free. I inherited one from the Airbnb and the other object from a tenant that was redecorating and trying to get rid of crap. This side table I also got from that same tenant, as well as the bottle. It's a small kitchen, but it has pretty much everything I would need. I have different cabinet spaces, surprising amount of storage for such a small kitchen. I got this kitchen cabinet. Wasn't a super expensive piece, but has held up really nicely. It's still in excellent condition. And I wanted cute dishware that could be on display. It opens up more cabinet space so that I can use that for pantry items or other cookware that's less aesthetic. I think it's so sweet. Kind of farmhouse. It's a little bit beachy. Storage that I usually put extra cups. Makes it super easy because I drink so much tea. My manifesting box. I have all these charms and intentions. Within 2 weeks, boom, I had the man that I'm now moving across the world with. It's just a sweet thing to do, and it's like a reminder to like have faith in the process and to trust Kismet. It can just be like a nice reminder when you've had enough disappointment with modern dating. This was an old tea box. I think it was like black tea that my dad got my mom one Christmas like 10 years ago. And I held onto the box just because I thought it was so sweet. And it just happens to like perfectly fit within the color palette. So there you go, repurposing. And this is my other prized possession. My friend Stanley got me in Japan. It's a roller skating Snoopy. Still got some coffee. I'm like allergic to overhead lighting most of the time. This cute sconce didn't require any electrical because I didn't want to mess with the wiring or anything. So renter friendly, it just makes 2 holes in the walls. Very easy to patch and paint over. Figuring out how to prioritize your counter space based on your utility or need and doesn't add too much friction to the process. Personally, I'm such a coffee fiend that dedicating a ton of counter space, relatively speaking, to my coffee machine and to my pot to boil water, that's just what works well for me because I don't want to have to deal with putting that in and out and configuring it each time. Some tiny kitchen hacks that I think have been really useful. I think these racks are brilliant. Makes it easy to grab, makes it easy to see everything. They're really durable. Like, I put oil in these. I have like jars of things and they've never once fallen. They have these hooks that come on them that make it really easy to hang kitchen mittens. Anything you can do to free up the space is going to keep it feeling more organized and more open. Just getting the paper towel, it's such a small detail, but like lifting that off the counter makes such a big difference. It's a drying rack. You can use it to like cut things or store things if you need to. Because I don't need 2 sinks to like wash things in. This has been a game changer. You can remove it if you need to. It's not like secured in any way. This thing has also been awesome. I've had 2 spaces, one where I put my steel wool, one for the sponge. Because it's so aerated on the sides, the sponge dries really quickly. And it just like keeps this area clear, tucked away nicely in the sink. I have a smaller soap and then I just continuously refill it because it's a tiny space and I don't want like a huge soap dispenser here. I mean, this works really well. I've had this for a year and I just recycled this bottle. Having a knife rack is really nice. Continues the kind of like natural finish wood aesthetic, matches this finish. One of the trade-offs, I decided to tuck my toaster away. I don't toast bread that often and it's pretty easy if I am toasting bread to just pull this thing out and then put it back when I'm done. This is my inner shame a little bit. I could have done a better job organizing. I haven't been in a cooking phase. I love cooking. I've gone through really intense cooking phases, but just having these like crappy electrical stoves, not super motivating to cook on. I don't know. Controlling the temperature is too tricky with those. Okay, we're in our bathroom space now. Let's do a little tour. It's a really small space, so I wanted it to be this light green color so that it wouldn't constrict the space. I have this like farmhouse boho shower curtain with these tassel details, natural textile feel to it. Really affordable shower curtain too, and it's held up nicely. It's been a year, it's in good condition. Another trick, I just tuck away the shower mat when I'm not using it. The shower curtain obscures it so that it's not out taking floor space. In terms of my shower setup, these guys are a game changer. Open up a ton of space, like down here, to make it feel like nice and compact. They've never once fallen, even though I have so much liquid in them. everyone needs to have a plant shelf. These are fake plants because there's zero natural light that comes into this bathroom. Just having that little bit of green makes it feel like garden oasis. A little bit more functional decor. I keep tampons in here and it makes it look aesthetic and it's just easy to grab. Scent diffuser. Put some plants up there because I'm indulgent like that. My scones, I'm obsessed with these. I love these sconces with all my heart and soul. I have no right to love them as much as I do, but genuinely, they make me so happy. It's like fairy cottage vibes. You turn off the light. So soothing to me at night when I'm trying to unwind for bed and I'm taking off my makeup and taking out my contacts. Be in this soft glow. Really adorable towels, again with tassels from H&M. I can't say they've held up like super well. You know, washing and using regularly. I think as decorative towels are really nice. They're cute and they work well enough. Having more plants, really key. And then this thing's kind of nifty. This was pretty inexpensive off of Amazon, and it just creates a little bit extra storage for like toilet paper, so you're not left doing the shameful poopy scooch. And then I got this waste basket. I like it when you don't see what's in the waste basket, and I wanted it to be kind of compact. This is the most cottagecore thing I own, probably. And it plays with the sconce. Feels like they're part of a similar world. Just like a little bit whimsical, you know. Living in a tiny apartment is awesome. I can't recommend it enough. In and of itself, it's kind of this mindfulness practice about what do I actually use? What do I actually need? What helps me? What can I shed? And it requires like some creative solutions to make the space work well for you, which is a fun challenge and puzzle if your brain works like that. I do have product descriptions in the doobly-doo as well as links to Amazon if you liked any of the things that I showed you today. I think all of it was extremely good value. I've been very happy with the choices that I made in optimizing this space for my needs and my goals. If you have any tiny living hacks, if you're in on a similarly small space and I missed anything, please put them in the comments for others to read. Yeah, I move out of this place tomorrow. It's the end of an era, of an epoch of my life that this space represents. It's been such a dream and a blessing to be here, and I can't recommend tiny living enough. I think the minimalism is just extremely grounding and keeps you in touch with what's important to you.